Left Arm Offering is one of those cards that can be powerful, even game-changing, but is really reserved for a limited number of decks due to the high cost of its effect and the significant inefficiency it produces within the deck itself. So in my opinion, what archetype decks can best take advantage of this potentially powerful but significantly risky card? Note that this list only takes synergy with Left Arm Offering into account. It is not a reflection on the overall competitiveness of the deck, and is only focusing on archetypes, for one can certainly create a quality deck build for just Left Arm Offering by hodgepodge, throwing in certain specific cards and creating nice synergy there. Why only a top 5 instead of a top 10? Well, I could have made a top 10 list, but some of those decks near the end get a bit reachy and eyebrow-raising in my opinion. Basically, they look like list fillers rather than actual good choices with good logic behind them, so only to top 5 for this list. Let me first get the elephant out of the room. Infernoids, they're not on this list. While this might be surprising for some viewers, because for a number of players, the use of Left Arm Offering has almost become synonymous with running Infernoids, the combination is not as surefire valuable in my eyes as it is clearly in the eyes of some others. Somewhat rehashing what I said in my Infernoid deck build discussion, the issue of Left Arm in Infernoid is not the lack of targets, for there are a variety of quality choices in Reasoning, Monster Gate, Burial from a Different Dimension, and even Rekindling if one wants to go that route, reviving Decatrons. The problem is consistency and value. If you don't draw Left Arm in the opening turn, the requirement of at least 2 cards heavily limits the future usefulness due to the playstyle that usually accompanies Infernoids. Also, the fact that the other cards are banished from the hand hurts the overall usefulness more than I think some people want to acknowledge. Also, the value of Reasoning and to lesser extent Monster Gate is clearly different for me versus some other players. While Reasoning and Monster Gate are definitely important for Infernoids, the deck can win without them, and Reasoning is not a guarantee for advantage, especially the later the game goes. Overall, in my opinion, if one does not see Left Arm in the first 2 turns for Infernoids, the card is more than likely going to be a dead draw, hence why Infernoids are not on this list. Oh, wait, there may be another elephant? Infernity is not on this list either, for while Left Arm does achieve their archetype desired condition of not having a hand, while netting a free spell card like Launcher, Zero Max, Soul Charge, Foolish Burial, or something else, that cannot set spell and trap condition is incredibly annoying, and can in most situations actually spoil the empty hand condition it creates. While it is possible to make a valid field while remaining handless, the setup time and no spell trap card set condition hurts too much in my opinion. Too bad Left Arm Offering didn't have a condition of not being able to set before activation, but letting you set after its activation. So, with those possible elephants out of the way, let's get started. Number 5. Crystal Beasts. Why is this deck on the list? For some, this first deck may be a little out there. While there is not a large level of recovery synergy between Left Arm and Crystal Beasts, in that retrieving the banished cards are largely out of the question, there are some interesting targets like Crystal Promise to swarm the field via summons of Ruby Carbuncle, Rare Value if the cards banished by Left Arm are non-starters to add another 2 cards to your hand, Rainbow Ruins to net some free advantage depending on the level of Crystal Beasts in your spell trap zone, and even Crystal Beacon for a quick Pegasus summons to produce advantage off of an existing Rainbow Ruins. However, while all of these cards produce versatility, the real prize card is Crystal Abundance. Abundance is inconsistent enough that it really should not be run at more than 1 copy, but having Left Arm to search for it significantly increases its usefulness because if Abundant is activated, you have a very high probability of winning. Rainbow Ruins even helps support the activation condition of Left Arm by allowing an additional draw when 4 Crystal Beasts are in your spell or trap zone. Remember, this list is not about competitiveness, and when you can search out a card with the game-changing power of Abundance, which does not have some unrealistically insane activation condition, that is definitely worth something. Number 4. Heroes. Why is this deck on the list? One of the key elements in my mind for a good fit between left arm offering and a given deck is variety in target acquisition, for running multiple left arm offerings to only grab a single specific spell is typically not productive, most of the time. Although there does not appear to be any immediate synergy between heroes and left arm, heroes do have numerous play combinations with left arm. The most important synergy with left arm and heroes are the aforementioned large variety of spell targets ranging from Mask Charge, Mask Change, Parallel World Fusion, A Hero Lives, and Miracle Fusion, significantly increasing the value of left arm, producing important versatility, allowing the hero player to respond to a wide range of different threats. All of these spells also have a natural place in the deck, even if not running left arm. Well, maybe not Parallel World Fusion, depending on the build. Elemental Hero Voltic and Elemental Hero The Shining are also cards that can be seamlessly run in a hero deck that partner well with left arm. Another possibility is getting Reinforcement of the Army to possibly trigger Bubbleman's draw effect if nothing exists on your field after activating left arm. Of course, when I talk about heroes, it must be said that the deck design needs to be more expansive and versatile than the single-minded intensity that is Darklaw Turbo, for Darklaw Turbo only has one thing on its mind, and it has nothing to do with left arm offering. Number 3. Cyber Dragon. Why is this deck on the list? Cyber Dragon has numerous targets in Power Bond, Overload Fusion, Limiter Removal, and Soul Charge, all which can be devastating for the opponent, as with the right field, the first 3 can end the duel on the same turn, and rarely is anyone crying when they can search a Soul Charge and have the ability to get a Cyber Dragon Infinity on the field. In addition, any light machine monsters banished by left arm offering activation may not be out of commission for long if Cyber Network has anything to say about it. Heck, left arm can be even used to grab a card like Double Cyclone to destroy an opponent's back row card, and a Cyber Network on your field to get the banished light monsters right back to the field to set up various XZ summon and synchro plays. The one problem Cyber Dragon has with left arm is the similar problem that's seen in Infernoids, in that sometimes it is difficult to have in-hand cost necessary for its activation, but unlike Infernoid, Cyber Dragon seem to have better late-game plays with left arm, better balancing that inconsistency. Number 2. Laval. Why is this deck on the list? I think everyone had to suspect that there was going to be one deck on this list that ran Rekindling, because it's such a beast of a card. Laval gets the nod over a deck like Fire Kings because it is much easier for Lavals to set up their graveyard to prime Rekindling than any other Rekindling valid deck, which makes first turn left arm plays to get Rekindling actually viable when a means to activate Handmaiden's effect is also available, thereby increasing the overall effectiveness of left arm. Also, it helps that Rekindling is a blowout card that heavily increases victory probability whenever it is successfully activated. While left arm certainly does not make Lavals effectively competitive, it actually can return Lavals to a state of respectability from a competitive standpoint, that you don't simply just laugh when you see it being played against you. In a world where Soul Charge and Rekindling are both limited to 1, in some sense, that's an impressive feat for those who know the ins and outs and basically the missed opportunities for the Laval archetype. And finally, number 1. Everyone knows what number 1 is, right? So with that, my list of... I should actually go over number 1. Okay. Number 1, Shiranui. Why is this deck on the list? This deck being at number 1 should not be a big surprise to anyone. Although some may favor another deck as number 1, Shiranui is one of the best decks in which to run left arm offering, period. The fact that all of the Shiranui monsters have effects when banished, regardless of how they're banished, outside of Spectral Sword, creates an immediate jumping off point to numerous positive card effects in addition to the spell that is added off of offering. Based on the general effect for the Shiranui archetype, left arm offering can only get better with time for this deck if new Shiranui monsters are ever released. Tie in the fact that other zombie monsters, which frequently pair with Shiranui, govern numerous levels of graveyard recursion and control. Dropping your hand is of less consequence versus any deck that's not named Infernity. Finally, for the spells, there are a wide variety of quality targets that can be naturally run in a Shiranui deck, including but not limited to Dragon's Mirror, Book of Life, Burial from a Different Dimension, Soul Charge, and even Gold Sarcophagus if you have a sufficient field presence already and you want something for future planning. Overall, despite the general tenor of this list, I'm not really a fan of Left Arm Offering because, in my opinion, it is too hit or miss for my taste. However, the aforementioned deck seem to be the best choices to maximize its use while reducing its overall inefficiency and have the most kind of synergy or seamless efficiency with the card overall. Well, that's it. Thank you for your attention and your time. I'm out.